With 29 games left, September call-ups are looming.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
He's Ulysses Zambrano, and I'm Kevin Weiss. And later on today's show, we close out a fun Friday episode with baseball trivia and Name That War. In a few minutes, Rays playoff baseball starts this weekend. That's a point of view. But to start, lots of potential September call-ups, but there's a key name in mind.
And that key name is prospect Ty Johnson, who should be destined for an opportunity in September. Kevin, again, 29 games left. I know some of you want us to talk about stadium. Right now, as we're currently recording, that's currently happening. So we can't really give you more details on that, but we shall next week.
Yes, because the city's going through their stuff. The county's going through their stuff. It's just
it'll take a while
to work out.
Going back to what we were talking about with September call-ups, Ty Johnson, man, he should be a name to watch out for the Rays during this last month of the season. With Ty Johnson, 18 games, he's got a 2.90 ERA, a .97 WHIP, 22 walks, 80 Ks in 59 innings. I'll say that again. 80 Ks in 59 innings. This is just a weapon you can utilize and make that bullpen even stronger than it is. Because guess what? Like you mentioned on Wednesday's episode, you've got now Manuel Rodriguez joining the bullpen. You've got Tyler Wells. You've got a Kevin Kelly.
Yes. You've
got a Brian Baker. That's four really high. Now you're throwing in Ty Johnson. Now you're starting to feel really good about your bullpen. And then you've got a guy like Garrett Clevenger, who, has had an up and down season. But for the stretch that he was amazing, he was untouchable. So that's what you want in your bullpen to be as you head into October. I think it's pretty much a slam dunk that you're going to get Ty Johnson as a Ray in September. However, Kevin, the one thing that you have to do to get Ty Johnson into your roster is add him to the 40-man, which means that somebody in the 40-man you're going to have to say goodbye to.
Yeah, that is the key crux, which honestly, if you've looked at the 40-man lately, you should be able to pick out at least a handful of names that you can say, goodbye, we don't need you, and we're never really going to need you. I think Ty Johnson, he's drummed up a lot of interest recently in terms of what he's been able to do out of the bullpen in the minor leagues. And there's really nothing left for him to prove. Over the past two minor league seasons, he's had a 35% strikeout rate at the upper levels of the minors. And people are waxing poetic about his fastball-slider combination, in particular, the slider, which folks believe is a wipeout pitch, which could be used in some high leverage opportunities. Not saying he's going to get the highest of leverage opportunities if and when he gets the call in September, but it's something to think about. And we've talked about, hey, the pitching staff, starters and relievers are going to need some sort of breather up until the end of the season and going into the playoffs. What better opportunity than to give Ty Johnson a chance, a shot? Yeah. When rosters expand to 28 men, I believe the Rays and all other MLB teams can have a max of 14 pitchers.
Right.
That should be able to help your case a little bit. And for Johnson, like I said, there's nothing left really for him to prove. So let's give him that opportunity, give him that audition, and see what he can do. It would not be the first time that a guy gets called up in September and makes a huge impact and becomes a postseason storyline. Trey Savage with the Blue Jays just last year. So, and he's in, the guys in the majors don't really know what to expect from Ty Johnson. So it's also kind of a way to present some surprise in a new, different, unique look to some of these teams that you've played consistently over the past year.
And it's happened within the Rays franchise, right? Remember, Shane McClanahan went out of the bullpen in the 2020 playoffs without even touching a ball in the regular season. David Price, obviously, in 08. But what I like about this Ty Johnson possibility is the fact that in July, well, yeah, he was already moved to the bullpen knowing that this could certainly be an option. And so in July, moving him to the bullpen, 161 opponent's batting average and a 14 K per nine in 9 2/3 innings as a reliever. So I agree with you. I don't think he's got anything left to prove in AAA this year, where you can now utilize him as a weapon in the bullpen for the Rays in the 25 games left, 26 games left in September. Remember, there's 29 games left, but obviously there's still a couple more in August. I'm all about it. Looking at the 40-man, I think the easiest number to pick out, unfortunately for him, would be Oliver Dunn. I think Oliver Dunn is the easiest one because he kind of fits what Jorge Mateo does in a way better way. Like, oh, you needed a utility infielder? Jorge Mateo does that. Oh, and you want more experience in the MLB level for his offensive production? He can do that. Oh, you wanted a speedy guy? Jorge Mateo is speedy enough. Like, so Oliver Dunn, I'm sorry to say, he's the easiest one to pick out from the 40-man and insert Ty Johnson. But Kevin, I don't think that's the real trouble here. It's that second call-up. Right. Because that second call-up can either be Carson Williams, Jacob Melton. Yeah. Those are options too that wouldn't need to have a 40-man move. If you wanted to be, let's go dark horse and prize a guy like Theo Gillen, which I don't see happening because of Jacob Melton, then you would need another 40-man move. But between Carson Williams and Jacob Melton, is there some way that you are leaning currently right now?
Well, I know Jacob Melton, he's struggled previously and he's been dealing with injuries and trying to get back. I mean, I guess a lot of this is still somewhat unknown because it's not just those two guys. I feel like we also have to look at the injury status of, hey, if and when Mesa Jr. or Ben Williamson or Griffin Jacks, like that's the other thing with rosters expanding is maybe by that time or sometime a little bit into September, one or more of those injured guys will be available. So there is a possibility where Ty Johnson doesn't even give that shot or opportunity. I think it would be cool to see him just as a possible lightning rod for the roster in the bullpen. Frankly, look, with Carson Williams, I don't know how much more he's developed since being sent down. Just out of a curiosity standpoint, I would like to see what Jacob Melton can do with some opportunities in the majors. And like you mentioned, well, we have no need for Oliver Dunn. We have Jorge Mateo. I mean, did the Rays not go out and get Jorge Mateo because they don't feel like Carson Williams can really do much this year?
I think I think Carson Williams is not going to be the option here. And not only with the surprise factor of Jacob Melton of like, hey, let's see what he's got. He's been killing it at AAA the whole year. Yes, he's been injured, but when he's on the field, he's been incredible. So I think that too. Plus, let's remember, when Victor Mesa Jr. went on the IL, who came up? Kenny Piper. So the Rays have been playing with 3 catchers and 1 down in the outfield. It would seem to me like getting Jacob Melton would now solidify that outfield a little bit more. And just like we want to see what, as Kevin Cash said, a Junior Caminero batting practice from the left side. That's what Kevin Cash said at FanFest about Jacob Melton. So I would like to see that. So Jacob Melton, I think, would be the nice call up for the position player pool. I agree with your take on we might not even see Ty Johnson. I want to see him. You want to see him. But let's say Griffin Jacks with his rehab start. Was that his last rehab start that he did, or is he going to have one more? If he does have one more, maybe there is enough time for Ty Johnson to get that call-up. If there isn't, then obviously Griffin Jacks would take that spot, and Ty just remains at AAA. So a lot of moving parts, but I think it would be fun to see Ty Johnson and Jacob Melton if we can have our cake and eat it too.
Yeah, and the Rays can also, I suppose, be somewhat creative with phantom IL stints because I mean the bullpen I think is in pretty good shape, but hey, we need to give this guy a breather, a rest, or maybe it's very possible and feasible that another injury or two pops up, and then that opens up an opportunity for Ty Johnson. So just from an aesthetic standpoint, and I know that, we still have some sour grapes from trading Isaac Paredes to the Cubs. This would be a nice reprieve if we get to see some of the fruits of that trade in Ty Johnson step up and make an impact. Same thing with Jacob Melton. You had to give up Brandon Lau to get Jacob Melton. So sure. I think being able to say, okay, yeah, we gave up those standout established players. Here's our investment being returned in some respect.
I like it. I like that point of view. And what I don't like, however, is how the Rays' strength of schedule is looking for the next 29 games. Support for today's episode comes from Indeed sponsored jobs. When workplace chaos hits and you need the right hire, Indeed sponsored jobs helps connect employers with candidates who match specific needs like skills, certifications, and locations. So less time gets spent searching and more time gets spent finding the right candidate, because people are finding quality hires on Indeed right now. In fact, in the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, more results. When you need the right person to go through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs.
Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast and making us your first listen of the day. We appreciate it. We are, of course, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network out there. Ulysses, according to experts and pundits, the Rays have the 5th toughest remaining schedule in MLB. So that brings challenges, of course. There are tough opponents on the road and tough opponents at home. And fingers crossed, the Rays find a way to win their division so they don't have to play in a best-of-3 wild card.
It's crazy because out of the 9 series they have left, only 2 of those 9 series are against opponents that are out of playoff contention. Those are the Athletics, 3-game series at home, and then a 3-game series at home against the New York Mets. So those are the only 2 series where you're like, okay, this is a slam dunk.
Yeah.
They should definitely win. The other 7 series are tough because not only are they away, most Texas, Atlanta, Yankees, and Philadelphia, all away, all teams that are going or fighting to go to October baseball. And then at home, San Diego this weekend, Houston, and Boston. So it's a tough cookie right now. Yeah. If you're a Rays fan to watch, and should make it exciting. Don't get me wrong. However, if you were looking for a smooth finish, it's not going to be that. There's going to be ups and downs because these teams also are looking to win those games. And the start of playoff baseball, we were talking off screen, I think it starts right now. I think this weekend is the beginning of playoff baseball. 7-9 against teams that want to play October baseball. They're going to have high intensity throughout these games. And really, I'm at a point, Kevin, and I've been alluding this for a couple weeks now. I no longer care for a Rays loss if the Yankees lose that same day. No longer care if the Rays lose, if the Yankees lose the same day, because we're at the point now where you just want the division. The division is the goal because you can do two important things by winning the division, and people need to remember this. Number one, you reset your rotation and your bullpen. Fantastic. You get to pick not only that they rest, but also the order of operations, how you want to attack these teams. And number two, you're going to be watching on the couch with your favorite snack, seeing how your opponent that you're going to be playing at home, where you've been really, really good, they waste their bullets, not only in their rotation, but in their bullpen.
You got to pull out all the stops for that wild card. And look, even though the playoffs overall a crapshoot, I would say it's even more of a crapshoot in a best of 3 compared to a best of 5 or best of 7. Because I would imagine most teams that are in the wild card should have 3 capable starters, or they'll pull the strings to do whatever they can. Whereas depth isn't as much of a factor when you get to a best of 5 or best of 7, where it's like, okay, we might need to use our number 4 starter. So yeah, I agree with you to a point on if it's okay if the Rays lose so long as the Yankees lose. That is assuming that the Red Sox don't pull a miracle, throw a Hail Mary, and find a way to scratch and claw their way into legitimate division winner contention. Because last I checked,
are you there? 6 games?
Yeah.
Are you there with the nervousness about the Red Sox now?
I'm not nervous, but what happens if the Rays get swept by Boston and Boston's within a couple games? Look, we've seen some crazy September situations.
Yes, we have.
And I guess that gets to
firsthand.
Yes, I guess that gets to the overall confidence level. So your confidence level in the Rays winning the division as of today, scale of 1 to 10, where are you? Are you at an 8, a 9, a 7, a 6, a 5?
I'm at a 6.78.
Okay.
Currently.
And I guess it will progressively tick up if the Rays go 4 games ahead of the Yankees, 4.5 games over the Yankees.
That's a sliding scale by basically every game that happens. And now we're scoreboard watching, and Rays TV is scoreboard watching now. Throughout the broadcast, they're showing us Boston scores. They're showing us Yankee scores. So it's that time of the year. How about you? I'm obviously being facetious with 6.78. Obviously, I think 7 would be.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between a 7 and an 8 right now. Of course, the recent losing series, except for the Tigers, kind of put a damper on things. But the hope is, hey, that was a down moment for a couple of series. Now you can be on a little bit of an upswing, sort of like the economy, where there's ups and downs. So hopefully we're on the side where the economy, the Rays economy, is in a little bit of a boost here.
Well, the Rays economy was fantastic coming from that West Coast trip at a 9-0 road trip. I was feeling 8.5. I'm like, let's call this puppy up. We got it sealed. It's a 6-game lead above the Yankees. I don't even care about the Red Sox. They're 8-9 away. But now after this little skid, now I'm at a 6.7, 7. It changes by the game. The strength of schedule is worrisome, because when you look at that scale that you look at for strength of schedule for the remaining 29, 30 games that the teams have left, the Yankees are at 23rd. 23rd. The Rays are at 5th toughest. The Yankees are at 23rd.
Something tells me that's a little bit by design. A little bit of facetiousness there. We should also acknowledge that, you would think the Rays traditionally would have a difficult schedule just because they play in the AL East. But again, the Yankees play in the AL East, and why is their strength of schedule 23rd,
for example,
compared to 5th for the Rays?
The Yankees haven't played the Rockies. They get to play the Rockies now.
Yeah, so, leaving the worst for last, I guess. So
there's that. That's kind of the momentum, and I guess you can say the same thing. Well, with the Athletics, with the Rays.
I would just think like conspiracy theory is look up like September strength of schedules over the last 10, 15 years between the Yankees, the Rays, and the Red Sox.
I like that.
And see where that takes you. But to your point about all this, September baseball, quasi playoff baseball, I think it is going to test the mettle and pressure and environment of the Rays. And I want to see how they respond in these close games. Like, okay, yes, you lost a lot of close games recently. Now are you going to find a way to push through and win those close games?
We're proud of the first 5
behind,
months.
You're down by 1 in the 7th inning. Do you mount a comeback? Because I think, I've said this before, you want to have some good markers that you can look back and say, hey, we did X, Y, and Z in September. We're now ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, and they've shown resiliency. We've thrown that word around, and everybody has that's been watching Rays baseball for this whole year. So they've shown that. But just like I was saying, we're proud of the first 5 months, and it's been fantastic, and you've surprised us in a really, really good way. Now you got to finish the job. Yes. 1 more month. You got to finish the job. Show that it wasn't just a fluke of 5 months. Again, this is one of the most magical seasons that we have seen this Rays franchise do. It would also be the biggest meltdown for this franchise if they don't win the division.
Yeah. One last point on this, and I don't know how the rotation will set up, but I would posit that it would be very cool to see Freddie Peralta pitch against the Mets in early September.
I think that is actually going to happen because he just pitched Wednesday, so he would have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Yeah. He would pitch. If they remain without the off days, he should be able to pitch Tuesday.
An opportunity to get some revenge.
That'd be nice.
Hey, you didn't help me at all. You screwed me up mentally and physically.
That'd be so nice.
I want to pitch 6 or 7 shutout innings.
Sign me up.
We will close things out. Fun Friday episode with baseball trivia and Name That War. Well, we know that running a business shouldn't feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work together in the first place. One app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales, and somehow none of them talk to each other. Well, that's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together. We know that the best organizations also know that success isn't just about talent. It's also about having everyone working toward the same goal. And that's true in sports, just like it is in business. The Rays are trying to make the playoffs. They're trying to win the division. They got to be working together, just like Odoo is. As we know, great organizations win because operations matter. And that's why you should get Odoo. Odoo is one platform to manage, grow, and scale your business. And here's an offer for you. Try for free today at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. All right, it is a fun Friday, and that means baseball trivia and Name That War. And Ulysses, my trivia question is in regards to older baseball players. A couple weeks ago, we talked about Yandy Diaz and what he's doing at the age of 35 and possibly beyond that. So in front of me, I have a list, and I know he's not necessarily a home run hitter, but I just was curious about this statistic in question. Players who have hit the most home runs on or after their age 35 season. So they turn 35 and they're still hitting dingers up to their late 30s and maybe early 40s. So with that, I have a list of 10 names who have hit the most homers, age 35 and older. I want 5 of those names.
Okay. Well, I mean, let's go with the easy one, Barry Bonds.
He is number 1 with 317.
317 after 35?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Wonder how that happened.
That's ridiculous. All right. Another easy one, Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth is number 7 on this list, 198.
Number 7 has a 198.
Mm-hmm.
I want Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron is number 2 on this list with 245.
He would have been so fun to watch live, man.
Oh, yeah.
Golly. Let's go with after 35. Alex Rodriguez.
Strike 1.
So no, I didn't even like that guess. Why did I say that? I like this one better. Jim Tomei.
Strike 2.
Mother! I gotta protect. You can't swing. Can't swing big here. Protect. I mean, it's gotta be either Pujols or you gotta go with Willie Mays. Griffey Jr. No, but he got so hurt. Who was more? I don't think Pujols ever had less than 20 home runs in a season. How many do I have?
You have 3 names, 2 strikes.
And I need 2 more. Name. Let's go Willie Mays.
Willie Mays, strike 3. Here is the list. Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, Nelson Cruz, 35 and over, most home runs. Rafael Palmeiro, Andres Galarraga, Darrell Evans, Babe Ruth, Carlton Fisk, Big Papi Ortiz, and Ted Williams.
Okay, good list. That was fun. That was really fun. And I hope you guys all enjoyed playing with that. Was a really good list. Damn, and Andres Galarraga, dude.
Yeah, he was a monster.
He was the big cat.
Big cat.
Used to love pretending I was him in batting practice just because his stance was so dope.
Yeah, he had a very unique stance. I imagine he was pretty flexible.
I imagine he was flexible. That's the big cat. That's why that name, Big Cat. That was fun. Okay, so for today's Name That War, which, by the way, if you don't know what Name That War is when we take a player from the past and we try to guess their career war according to Baseball Reference, only using our Baseball Archive mind. And today's player from the past, well, we're playing the San Diego Padres, and this man was a Padre for a few years, not all of his career, but for a few years. What is Mark Loretta's career war according to Baseball Reference?
Mark Loretta.
Loretta.
I assume he was a third baseman.
Second, third, short.
Okay, so played all around the diamond pretty much. Mark Loretta played probably 12 years in the bigs. Maybe had 1 all-star appearance. I'm going blind here. Might have had a career average of 270, maybe 150 homers. Not a lot to go off there. I'm just going to go with a wild guess of 19. Career war.
19? Okay, so then a slash line of 295, 360, 395. That's a 754 OPS. That's a 98 OPS plus. That was too many home runs, Kevin. Only 76 home runs. He was a 2-time All-Star. He was a Silver Slugger. He had 1,713 hits. But boy, oh boy, I need everybody. I don't care if you're driving, pull over and give this man an applause because Mark Loretta had 19.3.
Wow.
Career. That was just...
Yeah, pulled that out of my butt. I don't know how I did that. That's pretty
fantastic.
Impressive.
Fantastic work, Kevin. And I hope that we get fantastic work from local politicians to end this weekend. I hope everybody's doing their due diligence, read all the documents, and then vote for the good of this community. I'm excited to hopefully be very happy, and I'm excited to hopefully have the team that I've rooted for most of my life to be here for the long haul.
Who knows? Shovels might be hitting the ground Monday. Just kidding.
I won't be happy, though, until exactly that happens, until shovels are on the ground. Votes, I've been in votes. I've seen votes. I don't care about votes until I see them bleeping shovels in the ground. I will say that, though.
Based on this process and all that's gone on, even shovels hitting the ground would not be a guarantee. Could be some financing issues, work strike, who knows what.
But for me particularly, I see shovels on the ground. That's when I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's actually happening.
Zoning and permitting holdups. Yeah, there we go. But yes, I'm sure we'll have an update or updates next week on that. In the meantime, we hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.